Welcome to episode 2 of my Patron server Let's Play. In today's video, we are going to be looking at all of the progress that I've made between episodes, as well as building probably 1 or 2 farms in a cool cinematic way. But let's just jump into some replay mod footage showing off all of the progress that has been made so far. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. Okay, so getting started, we haven't done much work on this tunnel yet. It's mostly the same as before, but then we can enter the cave part. Again, this is all very similar to the first episode. Where it gets a little different though is that once we head down to the end of the tunnel here, you'll see that I ended up hooking up the end of the cave into the start of the storage room area. So there's a little water elevator here that will take us up to a room that we'll talk about a little bit later, but this is all just nicely tied together and it doesn't feel like it's two disconnected things. So storage room has not made really any changes here, kind of just the same thing, except for at the end of the tunnel right here. As you can see, this has been capped off. I haven't textured the back wall yet very much. It's just all stone brick. Same with this room, which I have doubled the amount of chests in here. So this is our bulk storage area, and I just simply decided, hey, we've almost already maxed it all out. Let's make expansion to it. So this should do nicely. And then I continued on, and this area connects the cave to the big storage area, right? And just decided to add like some stone supports and then like a back stone wall, as if it's like stone carved out with some supports actually dug in there. And then did the floor through here. I split up this path into 3 different ways like before. This time actually looking a little bit nicer, and then I shaped the walls. I haven't done textures yet on those, but we have our amethyst tunnel, of course, to the right, and then down here, as we have seen before as well, not much changes to this either. This is a bit overgrown. I do need to, at some point, cut down some of the glowberries, probably shear off the end of them so that they don't continue growing down. But yeah, capping it all off, we have this stone structure, sort of like an archway, which then leads into our farming area. So on the left, we just passed our sand and gravel farm, which has been completed. And then down below, we actually have an Amethyst Geode right below here, which looks pretty cool. We still need to decorate that area down there, but it's definitely going to be a feature of this floor, which, by the way, I textured and sort of outlined all of the area for. And then finally, we have a couple more farms in production. So the farm we are now closest to, this is going to be an extruder farm to generate the different stone types. That should all be pretty nice. And so today what I'm planning on working on is this extruder farm. So I want to get block breakers set up here. I want to have each type of stone running through here. Probably move this farm to a bit higher up into the sky and set it to go into the storage area here. And then by the end of it, we'll have a nice storage system with 8 different types of stone being produced. I also made a bit of a temporary clay farm that does the job, but isn't amazing. So this just is producing gravel, which then turns into sand, and then we have a saturator that turns it into clay, and then a block breaker to mine it, a compactor to take everything and combine it down into here, which then feeds into the actual clay farm. It has a little bit of issues with sometimes the clay doesn't convert properly if the player is like in an unloaded chunk or something. Sort of a weird bug with Minecraft. But before we get too far, I just wanted to make mention of this water elevator that I'm sure you guys noticed in that actual opening cinematic. This goes up to a bit of a storage and utility room where we have a storage input. So this goes into the sorting system. And then here we have just some general chests you can store some stuff in, like shulker boxes, magical rings, books, all of the different tools and stuff that we have. Just a bit of place for like shulker boxes and a bunch of crafting tables and stuff. And then I actually just leave most of my crafters in this chest here, where you can just use them when you need them, but then they don't have to take up a massive amount of space. And then as you can see, there's just a bit of a drop down to get to here, but it's all kind of mostly out of the way and doesn't look too terrible. I think as for like utility things, it looks pretty reasonable. It's a little bit out of place, doesn't quite fit the theme, you know, with random water pillars and a bit of a little drop. But all in all, I think it does the trick. And then on this side here, we still have like the random unsorted bits that go through the filters. And then on the other side, we haven't figured out exactly what we're going to do with this yet. My guess is that we're going to make a furnace system of some kind, so maybe just like an input and an output chest somewhere along there with an auto smelting system just behind the wall. And with all that out of the way, let's jump into a bit of a time lapse of building up this extruder farm. Okay, so we start with the storage for all of the things. This is of course going to be split up one row for each item. So we just need a bunch of hoppers. I did run out, so I had to grab more. And then we have a bunch of block breakers that these face down and will break the blocks that the extruders are placing. So just place some slabs on top and then some stairs. We are going to waterlog these stairs so that when we place the andesite here, you'll see that the lava that we placed will actually go under the water and turn into cobblestone. That's the trick that this farm is using. The cobblestone then of course becomes the actual blocks that our block breakers break. Well, that was actually rather quick. And so now the moment of truth, we just need to get some pickaxes and place them up in the breakers and see what happens. So grabbing a bunch of iron to just make a bunch of iron pickaxes, generally pretty cheap when you have an iron farm. So we can just flappy boots to get up here, place this down, and well, it's starting to break. And that seems like a good sign. My only concern, because I actually haven't tested this design, is that potentially we'll get like cross-contamination where sometimes when it breaks they might go into some of the others, but as of now this is looking really promising. And so now without running, we can see we'll slowly be getting andesite and granite, diorite, cobbled deepslate, tuff, calcite, dripstone, and blackstone. And of course whichever one we want more of, we could just throw more into the actual chest for them. So maybe I want more of these ones. I don't really care about granite or andesite or diorite, so maybe I put a couple more into here. I think I have plenty of tuff. Some more calcite could be nice though, and then maybe a bit more dripstone. So each of those pickaxes will give me 250. And yeah, that's about it for this farm. Oh, and by now you might have noticed I have the haste effect. We actually managed to get a couple beacons and installed those all over the map. Pretty cool. But that's actually going to do it for today's video. I'll be going back to this farm and like decorating it with like some frames and stuff around it, making it look nice, and then probably solidifying what farm is in the middle here. But this is pretty much the farm, completely completed. You can see the type of block goes on the floor here. I might put another one up on the ceiling just to solidify that, but all in all, I think we did a pretty good job here. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. Remember, you can always join this server with a $5 or more donation on Patreon. I'll leave a link in the iCard in the top right to my Patreon, where you can do that if you're looking to join. But that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching.